Now that the One Big Beautiful Bill is actually law, there is a chance that energy prices will spike in red states run by Republicans, and that we'll see some handouts in blue states run by Democrats. Our Amy DeLaura reports on why this is terrible news for everyday Americans and also Republicans defending their narrow congressional majorities in the elections next year.
In theory, it should have been easy for congressional Republicans to work with the White House on a spending plan lowering prices and taxes with the added benefit of protecting vulnerable GOP senators. But because states generate electricity differently, this would mean reversing a campaign promise: the elimination of the renewable tax credits put in place by the Inflation Reduction Act. The OBB bill phased out certain clean energy spending and production tax credits, including the electricity generation, hydrogen production, and advanced manufacturing provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rather than addressing the situation, Congress instead focused on raising the state and local tax cap. While the United States has become one of the biggest producers and users of solar and wind energy, the country still predominantly uses fossil fuels to keep the lights on. Energy Information Administration statistics show renewables make up over 81 megawatts of energy generation, compared to almost 119,000 megawatts of natural gas. However, after the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, renewable energy production really took off in states like North Carolina, Iowa, Maine, Kansas, and Nebraska. Renewable energy proponents warn these states run the risk of seeing an economic slowdown, coupled with higher electricity prices if the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits are taken away. A study by the NERA Economic Consulting suggested North Carolina would see electricity prices jump 13% for homeowners and more than 20% for businesses, and could lead to the loss of 5,000 jobs. The study reported Iowa electricity prices would jump 5.3% for homeowners and 6.3% for businesses, and more than 2,700 people would lose their jobs. In Maine, electricity prices could rise 3.9% to 5.5% and could see 750 jobs lost. The good news is Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Joni Ernst, and Chuck Grassley of Iowa were able to insert a 2028 phase-out of the renewable energy tax credits into the bill. That could save GOP control of the U.S. Senate in 2026 midterm elections and possibly the 2028 election. None of these senators voted for the Inflation Reduction Act, but several have spoken about the need to protect certain renewable energy tax breaks for businesses. Meanwhile, the House and Senate's compromise over the SALT cap could help imperiled House Republicans from states like New York and California. Despite the cap being raised to $40,000 compared to the $10,000 passed in 2017, it appears to be temporary. The SALT cap reverts to $10,000 after the 2029 tax year. A tax foundation analysis found 91% of SALT deductions were claimed by residents of California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Texas, and Pennsylvania. Texas is the only state with a Republican governor. All those who used SALT deductions made more than $100,000. The foundation noted it, quote, disproportionately benefits high-income taxpayers, violating the principle of tax neutrality. The Committee for Responsible Federal Budget reported raising the SALT cap would add $916 billion to the already bloated federal deficit over 10 years. Now, to be fair, energy credit would also come at a high cost, but would be nearly half the price at $500 billion. Even if it were a direct swap for the value of SALT cap proportion of the House bill, it could benefit Republican members of Congress. If Republicans want to stay in power in 2026, they may have to sacrifice a talking point to keep the lights on and protect jobs in their state.